Hey you guys, we are back with another video finally, and this is how I make my spaghetti and fried catfish. Before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe and make sure that you turn on any post notifications so you never miss a video. So let's get into it really quick. So I start by soaking my catfish. I soaked it in water for about, I want to say like 20 minutes or so. It was just some cold water. So with 2 teaspoons of vinegar and some lemon, just to try to pull out that, like that muddy taste. And I just let that sit there, and then I just like pass my hands over it and clean it up really nice. Then I pat it dry. And once I pat it dry, I just place it on a wooden board like so, a cutting board, whatever you want to put it on. And then I'm just gonna hit it with a bit of hot sauce, like what I'm doing here. Whichever hot sauce you like, I use Frank's because that's my favorite. And then my seasoning mix, I'm gonna put down in the description. It was just literally some Sazon, some onion powder, some garlic powder, a little bit of paprika, some cayenne pepper, nothing too crazy, and a little bit of like Goya powder, um, and a bit of Tony's as well because I love Tony's on fish. It goes really, really well. But I'm gonna link that down in the description below. I wanted a little bit more hot sauce on there, so you just see me just going over just to make sure that the fish is really nice and coated. When I'm seasoning fish, I usually like to put it all in a bowl and then just sprinkle it evenly over. Next up, I'm gonna go ahead and cut up my peppers. So actually, once you guys are finished with the fish, you can just put that on a tray and just put that in the fridge and just let that marinate for as long as you want it to. You can do it overnight, just cover it with some plastic wrap, or you can do this at least an hour before for the best flavor. Now for my vegetables, I'm just cutting up a green pepper here. I'm going to julienne it first and then dice it up. You want to get it as small as possible. I literally just learned how to properly use like an entire pepper off of TikTok the other day. And for the guys that have seen the video with the lady, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to dice that up really, really small, as small as I can get it. Careful not to cut your fingers here. I just started literally putting a little like non-slip mat underneath my cutting board because I almost chopped off the tip of my finger the other day. But yeah, that's a whole nother story. So now I'm gonna go ahead and dice up half of a yellow onion, really, really small, like I said. Be careful with your fingers once again. If you're not a fan of onion, then you don't have to put it in. It's completely optional. For my spaghetti, I just like to use a green bell pepper, half of a yellow onion, and then about 6 cloves of garlic is what you see me mincing up here. I did end up adding in a little bit more after this because it wasn't enough for me. And now we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna cook down our meat really quick. So I'm using 1 small packet of the Italian sausage. I'm using the mild. You can use the hot if you like your spaghetti on the spicy side. And I'm also going to use 1 small package of the lean ground beef. This is the one that I think has like the 80% lean and 20% fat or something like that. But the one that says lean, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in a pan, a non-stick pan with some high heat underneath. I don't really add any oil to it, being that it's a non-stick pan because this is gonna make a whole lot of oil from the fat. So I'm just gonna leave it cook a little bit, and I just use that motion that you guys are seeing here with my wooden spoon or whatever you're using, and just try to chop it up as much as possible. I hate when ground beef is like really big, like it gives you like that wormy look. I hate that. And you guys, I got a can opener. I feel like super, super bougie right now, but I'm just gonna go ahead and open up all of my cans. I just wanted to show you guys really quick. And this was the finished product with the ground meat. This is what I like it to look like, really, really small. I hate the big chunks, like I said. So I just continue chopping that as much as possible. And now I'm gonna go ahead. I rinsed out that pan, got out all of that nasty grease, and I added in about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to my nonstick pan. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add in those chopped veggies. the onion, the green pepper, and the garlic, and just saute that around really quick. I'm using like a medium to high heat here, nothing too high because you don't want to burn everything really fast. Now I'm using 1 full can of tomato paste, and I'm just gonna mix it around really, really slowly, let that cook down a little bit, and try to combine with the vegetables as much as I can. And once it looks like about here or so, I go ahead and I add in my 1 can of tomato sauce. And then I just give it like another little mix, usually, but I didn't do it this time actually. And I went ahead and I added in 1 large can of crushed tomatoes. I like the crushed tomatoes because it does have a little bit more texture to it for me. But if you really don't want to have like any types of like bits of tomatoes or anything, I would just say just go in with the full like tomato puree or another can of tomato sauce if you would like. If you are one of the people that really like the chunks of tomatoes in there, I was making this for my kid as well, so I definitely couldn't use the can of diced tomatoes, but you can do that as well. And I just added about half a cup of water to the can, and I just poured that in there as well. Now you're gonna see me add 2 bay leaves and 2 stalks of thyme in there and mix that around. And really quick before it starts to bubble up really, really bad, I'm just go ahead and season that up. I add a tablespoon of each seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper, paprika. I'm gonna add it everything in the description again. Tony's, literally almost the same seasonings that we used on the fish, basically. And I also added some Italian seasoning in here as well, of course. And then I just give that a little mix. And this is where I usually start to turn down the heat because if you cook tomato sauce, you know it's gonna start like popping everywhere and it burns like really bad. Like it really, really burns. I asked my husband to mix this for me and he was there like jumping and screaming and I just couldn't take it. So I turned it down to about medium low heat and let it cook off for about 15 to 20 minutes or so. And that was just with the sauce. And then I go ahead and I add in my meat. Honestly, if you're trying to make this a little bit faster, you can go ahead and add in your ground meat first and then let it cook down. That's perfectly fine as well. I was just being OD extra when I let the sauce cook a lot more before I added in the meat, honestly. But go ahead and give that a mix and literally just put it on a low heat on my stove was about about like a 3 or 4, and then I just let that cook. I cover it up and I just let it cook while I was making everything else, like frying the fish and boiling the spaghetti. The longer it cooks, the better it's gonna be, honestly. So now for the fish. This is my favorite pack of fish breading right here, the blue pack. If you know, you know. And then I go ahead and I add in 2 big old tablespoons of cornstarch. And then I go ahead and season it up with the garlic powder and the onion powder. Everything that we use on our fish, we just want to repeat it inside of this seasoning as well. And then just give that a nice mix. Just make sure that everything is nicely incorporated and mixed together really well. You don't want to really see any clumps of white with the cornstarch. So I'm just going to take my spoon and just break everything down and mix it in as much as possible. Once everything is nicely mixed in, we're going to go ahead and just set that to the side and we're going to bring out our fish here. So I transferred my fish over to a bowl because I had it sitting in the fridge for about an hour. I'm just gonna go ahead and crack 2 large eggs inside of there. And this is just gonna really help to bind that breading to the fish really, really nicely. Some people would just use buttermilk, but I prefer the egg because I feel like the breading sticks a lot more. For me, with the buttermilk, it just tends to like slide off a lot more, which I'm not really that into. But anyway, so I'm just gonna break up those eggs a little bit and then I went in with my hands and just mixed everything in really, really nice. Don't be shy. Make sure that you get it all over that fish because that's what's going to help get that really nice crunchy breading. So for my oil, I'm going to set my oil to about 350 degrees. In this video, I was using vegetable oil. That's the oil that I use all the time. But you can, if you do have like canola oil or peanut oil, I do recommend those for frying as well. So once I finish mixing everything in here, I also added in some tilapia because the rest of my family wasn't a fan of catfish or whatever. So I did that and I put that to the side. Now, once my sauce was finished and my spaghetti was finished as well, I went ahead and I mixed this up. And let me tell you why I did it right before I put in my fish. Because I've realized once you mix it up and you let it sit for about, I want to say like 10 to 15 minutes before eating it, like the spaghetti would like soak up whatever sauce that's left in there, and it just gets really like nice and plump and so juicy. But it's completely optional. I just feel like that's the best way to have it. And then I go ahead and I add in about 2 handfuls of my favorite cheese. I was using Fiesta this time. But if you do have like Parmesan or mozzarella or anything like that, you can add that as well. Now going back to our fish here, like I said, I just cover that up and just set that to the side and forget about it with the spaghetti. So going back to our fish, this is what the catfish looks like after sitting in that egg mixture for about 5 minutes or so. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to bring it over to our breading mixture. So I lay it down flat first and I press the top of it to make sure that I'm pressing in as much of that breading that I can possibly get. And then I flip it over and just pat on the breading into that, like literally. Like you don't want to rough up the fish too much. You literally just want to pat everything in. But you want to make sure that you're flipping it because every time that you flip it, I don't know if you guys can see like whatever like creases that the breading hasn't gotten into, or whatever is going to expose itself. So once you're finished breading and your oil is hot and ready to go, if you have a basket, just drop the basket in and then just lay the fish in gently, really, really gently. And we're going to cook this for about 10 to 12 minutes until it's golden and crispy, just like this. So once it's finished, I just take it and I place it on a rack. I don't place it on any paper towel because that's going to make the bottom of the fish really soggy. I recommend placing it on a rack or leaving it in that basket just to let the excess oil drip off. And this was the finished product. I just plated everything with like, like some lime and a little salad for, balance. And then this was the finished product. I'm so mad that you guys never told me that this is so good. You guys can hear the crunchiness. Like, it was so good. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you guys are new here, welcome to the family. Turn on your post notifications so you never miss a video. And don't forget to subscribe to us on our other socials as well. See you guys next time. Bye.